Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be another tips and tricks guide having a look at how you can win more pistol rounds within Rogue Company. Depending on how your pistol round goes can dictate a lot of the early parts of the game, so winning it is really important, and in this video I'm going to give you some tips and help you understand the pistols a little bit better so you can hopefully go on to win those rounds more often. If you do go on to enjoy the video or just want to see daily educational Rogue Company content, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel, but for now, let's get into it. So why is the pistol round in Demolition so important? Well, the most obvious thing is that if you do not get enough cash flow for this round, you will not be able to buy a primary weapon for the second round of the game. This puts you at a massive disadvantage compared to the enemies who will definitely have their primary weapons. Now, the easiest way to ensure you'll get enough cash flow through this is to either win the round, because you'll always have enough money if you win the round, or to get a down, assist, elim, or some sort of stats on the board to bump up your cash flow just a little bit more. As we go through this video, I'm going to break down each of the pistols for you so you know how they work and how you should play around them for those pistol rounds. I'm then going to give you some tips and just some general information about how you can win more pistol rounds. Let's now break down some of the pistols so you know how best to use them. I'm going to start with the Spitfire, which is exclusive to Shark, Ronin, and Lancer, and is a fully automatic SMG-like pistol. This has a body shot damage of 16, headshot damage of 24, base magazine size of 15, and a range of 9 meters, which is quite short. This is a great pistol for up close engagements and really fits the playstyle of the rogues who have it. It's not great at dealing damage at long range, but can do a significant amount of poke. With such a short range, it means that if you're trying to fire at longer ranges, you generally won't have the accuracy to be able to hit enough bullets to get it down, which is why it's mostly used for poke and just a little bit of sort of finishing damage. This is definitely the kind of pistol that if you want to be trying to get up close and personal with your enemies, play close corners, and bait them into you so that you can win that third person peek with the hip fire. It's also great for rushing around a corner with because it's just so lightweight and so flexible with that fully automatic nature of it. So say you flash somebody, it's a great weapon to push off that with compared to some of the other single shot weapons that we have on this list. We're now going to move on to the Executioner, which is arguably the best pistol in the game due to its consistency and high damage over different ranges. It's also available to most of the rogues, including Anvil, Dahlia, Dima, Glitch, Saint, Trench, and Vi. The Executioner pistol will deal 32 damage to the body, 48 damage to the head. It has a magazine size of 12 rounds and has a range of 15 meters, which is long for the pistol. This pistol can be used very similarly to a DMR and excels at longer ranges and great poke damage, with generally having a 4-shot kill, especially if you're able to land headshots at the longest range. You want to play around it very similar to an MXR, and because of that, it actually has incredible up-close damage as well if you're really consistent with those shots. The hip fire on it is pretty good, and you can absolutely melt people if you land 2 headshots and a body shot, or even 1 headshot and 2 bodies. The damage profile of this weapon is incredibly good and lends itself to being the best pistol in the game in my opinion, and due to the amount of rogues who have it, and the versatility of playing at long range or short range, I definitely think it falls into this category. It favors good accuracy, but has a pretty good amount of handling as well, so even if you are a little bit shaky, you still should be able to hit shots pretty consistently with it, with a low recoil pattern. Now we're going to move on to the P12K, which is actually an incredibly quick time to kill pistol, but does suffer in some aspects and is exclusive to Phantom and Talon. The P12K does 25 damage to the body, 38 damage to the head, and has a base magazine of 7, although I think that will be changed to 8 in the coming update, and its range is also 15 meters, meaning it's quite a good long range pistol as well. This gun does excel at close range, especially hip fire. If you can get somebody really close, it has a great time to kill with an incredible fire rate, which means it can absolutely melt through people. The problem with this weapon is its low magazine size, however, which means it's very unforgiving if multiple people rush you, or if you're trying to fire at range and you miss a couple shots. Missing bullets with this gun will always be your downfall, whether it be up close or at range, but it definitely does suffer in this aspect, and honestly, it's kind of weak because of it. The additional bullet they're adding to the base magazine size in the next update will help it somewhat, but again, you have to be really accurate with this gun to unlock its full potential of that really quick time to kill and really good damage across different ranges, but you do have to be really accurate. Therefore, if you're trying to use this pistol, I definitely think it's one you should practice within shooting range beforehand, because it's definitely the most unforgiving pistol on this list. Now that we're going to move on to the Warrant, which is actually the newest addition to pistols, but is a really strong alternative. This is available to Sigrid and Fixer. The Warrant has a body shot damage of 20, a headshot damage of 30, a base magazine size of 15, and a range of 12 meters. Its insane fire rate and spammable nature means that you can really melt through people, especially if you with headshots in there, and can definitely outgun the P12K and Spitfire depending on the accuracy of both players. I do think this is a great rush weapon, great for being up close and personal, because I think when you get to that mid-range and that long range, the damage fall off makes it a lot worse, and you'll never outgun an executioner at the longest range. Especially for someone like Sigrid who can use that shield to get up close and personal, or Fixer who can smoke and sit in the smoke and use the pistol there, you can absolutely melt people with high accuracy and just spamming this fire rate of this weapon. So that's definitely the playstyle I recommend with it. For Fixer on pistol rounds, I do recommend you push really aggressively with it, as normally you sit back and snipe, but with this pistol you should be looking to play really aggressive with it, because you can outgun a lot of people with it if you're accurate and if you play that closer range. Now we're going to go on to Dallas's pistol, which is the LW6 Revolver. This weapon, like most of Dallas's, has really bad handling and really big kick, although it does insane damage and rewards amazing accuracy. The Revolver has a body shot damage of 36, a headshot damage of 54, a base magazine of 6, and a range of 16, putting it as the longest of all the pistols. As I said, accuracy is key with this weapon, like so much of Dallas's kit. It can absolutely beam people, and if you're within that 16-meter range, you can 2-tap headshot somebody with that Revolver. Compared to the other pistols, it does have a low fire rate, meaning you'll not be able to get bullets off as quickly, but if you're able to get that double headshot, you will absolutely beam people before they can beam you. I do think it actually has really good hip fire, but I think the hit reg of when you're aiming down sight does require a lot more accuracy, as it feels like it's a lot more pinpoint to actually hit that shot. I would definitely recommend you play around the range of this weapon and just hand cannon it to try and beat people. I don't think getting up close and personal is going to be the best way, because although I do think it can be used up close, I think other weapons are a little bit more consistent at dealing consistent damage against you, and you'll suffer with the Revolver if you miss one shot in those kind of engagements. And then finally, the last pistol we're going to go over is the A3 Salvo, which is Scorch's pistol and is currently a 3-round burst. It is, in the next update, I believe, going to be moving to a 2-round burst if they keep with the PTS change. So the damage numbers will differ slightly, but the playstyle of it is going to be very much the same. This weapon has a body shot damage of 12, a headshot damage of 18, a base magazine of 30, which is 10 bursts of that 3 bullets, and a range of 11.5 meters. Now this gun is actually not very good. It can do okay damage, but hitting the 3-round burst, especially when someone is moving, can be difficult. The only time I think this weapon excels, however, is when using Scorch's ability. This remains the same in the update as from my testing, but generally using Scorch's ability with the 3-round burst of this pistol means you get multiple procs off of your fire damage. This means the time to kill goes down massively and is a really solid weapon for you to be using in these engagements. When you don't have the fire active, it's definitely not as strong, still okay, but you'll generally get outgunned by most of the other pistols. But when you have that fire damage, that's when you want to be pushing aggressively and use that overheat time to the best of its ability, like you would normally with Scorch. Okay, that's a breakdown of all the pistols, guys, so you know a little bit more about how you should be playing around each of them, the stats they have, and the way you can play around that to hopefully use the pistols to the best of their ability. But that's not the only way you're going to win more pistol rounds. Another massive thing you need to understand about pistol rounds is the time and the utility usage that is so key. Now, I always go on about utility. Things like flash grenades and normal grenades and Semtex and C4s are so valuable, but these are so much more valuable in pistol round for specific reasons. In the pistol round, everybody has nothing but one piece of utility or a perk generally, or maybe even a pistol upgrade. That means they don't have access to their main pieces of counterplay like Headstrong or Tenacity or Lifeline. These big perks that make so much difference in the later rounds are not available here, and you need to capitalize on that when you're going through these games. And what I mean by this is things like grenades are so powerful in the pistol round because you'll always be able to get it down with it if you're able to hit it consistently. Whereas later on, people with Tenacity can block most of the damage. Without Tenacity in these early rounds, they don't have it, so you can be able to push onto them with those grenades. Using utility correctly in these early rounds is not only going to help you win the rounds you get economy, but is just the perfect way to capitalize on those opportunities. I generally think buying a form of utility, normally an aggressive utility if possible, is better in these early rounds because you can capitalize on it for those reasons. Whereas the more supportive utility like smokes, unless you're going for a very specific strategy with the smokes early, are not as necessary and you can buy them later because they don't offer any different counterplay options. So I would definitely recommend focusing on better utility in these early rounds so you can capitalize on those moments of those lack of upgrades that your enemies have. Also remember though, you have the same disadvantage, so you want to be careful around that also. But utility isn't the only thing that you have available to you in the early rounds that can make a massive difference. The other things that are available to you are your abilities. Now, abilities are also so crucial in these early rounds, just as they are later on, but even more so because the damage felt from some of these abilities or the utility usage and the value from them can be felt so much more. Take Shark, for example. If you're playing Shark and you're running at someone with 175 health, if they have a good SMG in the later rounds, they can absolutely burn you down through that 175 health. But if you're running into a Spitfire or an Executioner at these levels, they're not going to have the damage output to be able to burn you down as quickly, meaning you're at a massive advantage in this early pistol round. The same applies to the Lancer, who can roll reload for these low ammo weapons and just out ammo the enemy team using that elusive passive. Things like Vi are really strong because she can use her poison to gain 125 health, which no one else can do in the game because they can't buy Headstrong and Pistol Round. There's so much advantage to using the correct abilities in these rounds that you want to be taking advantage of. However, there's something also really important to focus on in pistol rounds, and it's not necessarily just helping you win it, but it's helping make sure that if you lose, you're not at that disadvantage of not having a weapon. And there's a few little tips I have for you to help you do that. The first is to just try and make sure you're getting some sort of down and play for a kill if you can. Say you're 1v4 right at the end, your entire team's died, and you know you're going to lose the round. Just try and play for at least one kill, because you'll be able to get enough money to buy your primary weapon in the next round, and that puts you not at that disadvantage. Also, try and eliminate an enemy that your teammate may have gotten downed, because in that way you'll also be able to earn some extra money for that next round. The bomb plant can also be a great source of income, getting you that extra 500, which can just help you in that next round as well by having a little bit more economy. And also revives are really important, whether it be reviving during the round or immediately after the round is ended, just again for that extra boost in economy, so you're going into the next rounds with a little bit more cash flow. Hopefully this has shown you a little bit more of the importance of pistol rounds and opened your eyes to some of the stats of the weapons and how to use them a little bit more effectively for their different range and damage types, but also hopefully shown you that the abilities and gadgets that you have available are so much more impactful in these early rounds and how you should be using them to that advantage. That's going to take us to the end of the video though, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also come follow me on twitch.tv/RADTHARGAMING to see live gameplay commentaries, guides, Q&As, and playing with viewers. All the links you're going to need are down in the description below, but for now, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. And remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll catch you in the next video.